welcome to the October the 31st, 1989 taping of It Happened in Grand Prairie, as we bring you back memories of Grand Prairie of the past, and also bring you up to date on those that have been important to that history making and what they're doing in Grand Prairie today. Today we are very honored. We have with us the recently named Senior Citizen of the Year. And in order to make this more complete, we're just delighted to bring to you Clara Vaughn, who is going to tell us something about her life history here in Grand Prairie. Welcome, Clara. We're glad to have you with us.
Thank you.
All right. Now, Clara, being Senior Citizen of the Year is very important, and we're going to hold all that in abeyance and start out with Clara Vaughn sort of in the beginnings. And we'd like for you to look out into your camera and tell us a little bit about your genealogy. Give us your father's full name and your mother's full name. Would you do that?
Okay, my father's name was Prairie Willingham Wagley.
All right.
And my mother's name was Frances Fanny Garland Wagley.
All right. Now, the Wagleys lived where in Texas?
They lived in Callahan County, and I was born in Clyde, Texas, which is Callahan County.
All right. Are you going to give us the magic birth date? Are you wanting to put that on the genealogy record?
Oh, I don't mind that at all.
All right.
It's March the 24th, 1912.
Oh, that was a good year, 1912. And being born in Callahan County, what brought your parents to West Texas? Were they born there?
They was born and raised there.
All right.
In Callahan County.
All right. What did your dad do for a living out in Callahan County in West Texas?
He was a farmer.
Okay, he was a farmer. And as a farmer, what did he raise?
He raised wheat and oats and barley, not cotton, but a lot of corn and big gardens,
All right.
things like that.
All right. Did you have any brothers and sisters, please, ma'am, Clara?
I had two sisters and one brother.
Would you like to name them so we can get them in the record, even though maybe some of them are deceased?
All right, they're all deceased.
All right.
My oldest sister was Maribel
All right.
Andrews. My other one was Nellie Amanda Dennis.
Okay.
And my brother's name was James Starks Wagley.
All right.
And they are all deceased.
Okay. Now that we've taken care of your immediate family, you mentioned to me prior to this interview that you lost your parents at a very young age. How old were you when you lost your last parent?
I was 10 when my father died. I was 5 when my mother died. And I lived with a dear aunt and uncle. And
Would you like to name your dear aunt and uncle? We'd like to know their names, please.
okay, Uncle Zoe
All right.
and Aunt Tish
Okay.
Wagley.
And they were the Wagleys. Was that your father's brother then?
That was my father's brother.
All right. Did they also have children other than taking you in under their wing?
Yes, they did. They had 3 boys and 1 girl.
Would you like to name those 3 boys and girls that you were raised with?
Okay, there was Avis. She'll just give their given name.
That's fine.
H.T. was the oldest boy, and then there was twin boys, Herschel and Harvey. And Avis was like a sister to me, and the twin boys are still living, and they was also like brothers.
All right. Where do they live now?
They live in Callahan County.
Still in Callahan County. Okay. So
Now, the Avis lives in Richardson, Texas.
Oh, well, that's nice that you have a cousin so close by,
Yeah.
isn't it? All right, now, when you went to live with your aunt and uncle, did they live pretty close to where your parents lived? did you get to go to the
Well-
same school, or where did you start the school?
Well, I is in Moran, Texas. That was in Shackford County, just across the line from Callahan.
All right, and you started the school in Moran,
Moran, M-O-R-A-N.
Moran, Texas. And was it a big school or a sixth grade school, or tell us about it?
Well, all of the credits at the time I started, of course, were not affiliated,
Uh-huh.
but then they eventually grew to that.
All right.
In fact, this next weekend they're having their homecoming
All right.
for the, and they had quite a write-up in the paper about their 6-player football game.
Mm-hmm.
And I never heard of it before.
Oh.
I thought when I was on the pep squad we had more than that.
And you were on the pep squad in Moran, Texas.
Right.
All right. And that was the wonderful grade school, high school combination there?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember any of your principals or your teachers that were maybe your favorites out in that school area?
I can only remember one that was always a favorite of mine, and I can't remember his name except his name was Duff.
Duff.
And I did get to see him at one of those homecomings after, the years that we went to school.
And do you plan to go to this next X's homecoming that they're going to have?
No, not this year.
Not this year.
Not this year. Too busy.
All right. Now, out in that area in Callahan County, how long did you stay out in that area?
Oh, until the war broke out, hadn't been much further than across the fence.
All right. Oh, that's good to know. Well, did you work on the farm when you were with your parents or with your uncle?
Well, yes, we did, and there was, at that time, there's drilling for oil in that part of the country, and it was shallow oil, and there's a lot of people moving in, and times was kind of hard, and maybe you might get a day's work from some of the people moving in there, the young couples that had babies.
Uh-huh.
And for young girls like me, that was better than in the field.
Oh, you bet. You'd get to go and babysit and take care of their house and housekeep and take care of their kids. Oh, that was a wonderful experience, wasn't it? All right. What brought you out of Callahan County? When did you leave there and why?
Well, the war broke out.
All right.
I think that's what makes most people move.
Yes.
And of course, over the years, I grew up and I had some Western experience. And I came to Grand Prairie in 1942, and a friend of mine and we went into the cafe business.
All right, name that friend and tell us where you went into business.
Okay, that was Letty. She got married after that. I can't remember
All
her
right,
name.
that's all right. You and Lady went
it-
into business, and where was your business located?
It was located by the old Grand Prairie Post Office, which was on Main Street then, and Ms. Can't I remember her name? It was a lady, postmistress,
All right.
and she's a very dear friend
And you
of mine.
and you were next door to the post office.
Right.
Is that on the corner approximately where the M Bank is located
Yeah.
now? Okay. All right. And when you all came and went into the restaurant business, how long did that last?
Well, the partnership dissolved, and I moved on to another one. I was in business about 10 years, serving the high school kids.
All right.
And as some of them in town can still remember the hamburgers they used to serve them.
All right. Did you work for the school per se, or did you contract with the school to do the food?
No, at that time the school was right in town. It was there where the tax office is now. That was the school. It wasn't out there where it is.
Yes.
And the kids could leave for lunchtime. They didn't have a cafeteria in school.
So you ran the little restaurant outside of the school where they could come and eat hamburgers. All right. That sounds wonderful. You did that for 10 years.
Well, yes, nearly 10 years before I went to the plant.
All right. And in all of this time, did you ever marry?
Yes, married Paul R. Vaughn
In what year?
in 1946.
1946.
And he was an East Texas boy.
Uh-huh.
He was a carpenter.
Okay.
And later he passed away in 1968. And I have been a widow ever since.
All right. Now, after you left your business of making hamburgers for the school kids at a restaurant near the school, what happened to Clara then? What did you do?
I went to, it was Chance Vault then. I went out there and went to work for the food service business.
All right. How long did you work for Chance Vault Foods?
25 years.
25 splendid years. And you retired from there?
1977.
1977. And you've made your home in Grand Prairie since 1942?
Right.
Oh.
Almost in the same house.
All right. Now, we want to get to know about of course, your work. That's very exciting because that's how we live and eat and all of the good things. But you've been involved in several things here in Grand Prairie. Let's talk about, first of all, where you go to church.
I go to First Christian Church on Tarrant Road.
And how long have you been a member at First Christian?
Since the early 60s.
Since the early 60s. And do you hold any office there or teach any classes or have an involvement with the church at all?
I belong to the Come Double class, and I have been the past president over a year or two. And at the present time, I'm serving as secretary of the class. And in the CWF women's group in the church, I don't know why, but I've always been service chairman.
That's wonderful. That gives you a good job to do, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Well, someone told me the other day that you were affiliated with or knew something about the old Fowler home, the first orphans home that we had here in Grand Prairie that began in about 1910. Do you still work with the Fowler home since it's moved to Dallas?
For a number of years in the old building, we'd go and put on programs over there. But now in the last few years, I haven't been over there very much. But we still service them like on Christmas and things. We have personal gifts for them. We give things that the people in the home need, you know, like lotions and powders and stamps and envelopes and things like that.
Did you ever attend the old Fowler home when it was located here in Grand Prairie, which is now where the Naval Air Station administrative offices are down at Navy Dallas? Did you ever go into that building?
No.
You never did go into that building. We're still doing some research on that, so I'm probing, you can tell. Okay, now, what do you do now that you're retired? The clubs you belong to and how your involvement has come along, and especially to bring you to receive the very special award as Senior Citizen of the Year. Of all of the senior citizens in Grand Prairie, Texas, you were the most outstanding. So tell us what you've been doing for community service and et cetera that would earn you that title. Do you belong to any clubs like the AARP or the Golden Ages?
When I retired, I belonged to AARP locally. Of course, I still belong to it nationally. And I didn't hold office, but I was an assistant officer. And in the Golden Age, I was quite active in it in many different ways. At one time, I was the secretary. And we did an awful lot of things to earn money for it to have a bank account. Now, they didn't have one, I think, when I retired. We had one of the biggest flea markets up on the Church Street lot that you've ever seen. And we would go out to Six Flags and we'd work all day in one of those, I'm going to call it eating places. Because I worked in Jimmy Dean's place.
Oh, well, that was good. And you all would work there and they would earn money for senior citizens?
Yeah, for the Golden Age.
Well, that was a wonderful fundraising way, wasn't it?
And it was quite an accomplishment for that particular. Now, I do know that Golden Age has been in since 1970. But now that was 1977. So they hadn't really got their feet off the ground, I don't think, until they began to do things like that.
You mentioned the flea market at your church building on Church Street. Is that when you were located at 4th and Church and had the little colonial-style building of the First Christian Church?
No, this was for the Golden Age.
For the Golden Age.
We're not in the church.
All right.
This was on Church Street there at the community
At the community center, okay. All right, that's good. All right, now how about the AARP? Are you into it now?
Not really.
Are you a member?
I'm a member of national, but not local.
All right, now, how about your hobbies? What do you do as a hobby? Do you have any specialty there?
Well, over the years, I've made toys mostly for the abused children.
Okay.
And this all came about mostly through the church, the women group. As I said, I was on the service chairman, which we did cancer pads and. But my hobby mostly is making the toys.
All right. Tell us about making those.
Well, you need to make toys without artificial eyes and stuff, because children, when they're young, they don't know that they can't take that eye out and eat it, which they do come loose. So mark those on, and it's mostly done on material with the painted or marking or whatever.
Embroidery?
And sometimes embroidery, but that takes up an awful lot of time. If you're going to make 10 toys, well, you embroider 10, that's a long time.
All
you
right.
can paint them on,
A lot quicker.
Yeah.
All right. What happens to these toys when you get them completed? What do you do with them?
They're sent to Parkland Hospital.
They're sent to Parkland Hospital. And how many of these would you say that you do a year?
Well, I've seen the time when I'd maybe do 30 or 40, but I think as I grow older, it's getting smaller.
All right. Now, tell me about this Senior Citizen of the Year Award. You were a nominee for a Senior Citizen of the Month. You have to be one of the months to be able to vie for that.
Yeah.
What month were you chosen as Senior Citizen of the Month?
July.
In July.
In July.
All right.
Okay, you do a certain amount of volunteer work. I guess that would. Now, I do volunteer work, but I never considered it I thought it was a pleasure for me. I'm retired. I want something to do.
Yes.
But then I think that's the way I earned the award.
For the volunteer hours that you give. All right. Do you visit the new Seniors Service Center that's located on Conover Drive? Do you go up there very often?
Oh, I'm up there 3 days a week.
All right. What do you do up there 3 days a week?
I work in the nutritious department and work for Ms. Reed. And if she has meetings to attend in Dallas, then I'm there to fill in. And so now I don't keep account of my hours that I work, but
You do that as a volunteer to work with the nutrition center. Do you help serve the meals or what?
no,
No?
I take the names. I know nearly everybody by name when I see them.
About how many do you all serve in the nutrition center each day, approximately?
Well, it'll average out close to 100.
And this is wonderful that they get to come once a day for a real
Right,
good
because
nutritious
some of
meal.
those people without the bus service, they wouldn't have an opportunity to reach out and touch. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Everybody needs somebody.
And how often do you all operate the nutrition center?
5 days a week.
5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Well, what happens to these folks on Saturday and Sunday? Is there anyone that cares for them with Meals on Wheels or anything like that?
Not this particular group, but the Meals on Wheels are taken from the center there, and we're kind of in charge of those. If there's any changes come during the day, but now those are the people that are taken care of 7 days a week. I don't mean they serve meals 7 days a week, but Friday there's, and I have did this during my retirement time. You take extra box lunches and things for like Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, that's wonderful. That is great. Well, since you and Mr. Vaughn didn't have any children, you have really been taking care of others, and you certainly are more than paying your dues in society to be able to do things, especially in the nutrition center. But do you do anything else there at the Senior Citizen Center as a volunteer?
Well, maybe visiting nursing homes and things like that, but usually they're good friends of mine, and when we reach my age, you've got a lot of good friends in the nursing home.
Well, I happened to attend the Senior Citizen Awards luncheon that day when you received your award, and I noticed that you had some very special people that came up when Jane French read your name and read your resume and all of the many things that you had done. Would you like to mention some of the people that were there?
Well, yes, they did This Is Your Life, and it really was a surprise to me. Because I didn't know the people were there. And of course, Faye Farquhar, she does go to my church, and she's well known in Grand Prairie. But she and I have been rather close friends over the years that I've been in Grand Prairie. And so she was there, and I had my cousin from Richardson was there.
Name
my
her.
cousin Avis Miller.
All right. Avis Miller was there, and her daughter.
And her daughter, Shirley Ballard.
All right.
And my special niece, named after me, Clara Francis Riggs.
Oh, wasn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
That was a very wonderful surprise. Is there something you want to read to us about maybe what they said at the Senior Citizen or anything that you'd like to tell us?
No,
from
I
that?
don't have that.
Is this something special about the Fowler home?
No, this is just something that I sent in, as you probably read it.
As your resume that
Yeah.
you sent in
Yeah.
as a senior citizen? Oh, well, that's wonderful.
And the only thing in there we haven't talked about was I used to be a member of the American Business Women's Association when I worked.
All right, tell us about that.
And it was special to me because we gave young girls scholarships, you know, to go to school, to whatever their chosen profession was. And I worked hard for that group of women because we gave quite a few scholarships.
Is that the group where Anna Mitchell is one of the presidents,
Yeah.
of course?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. They are a wonderful service club, and they still meet in the Grand Prairie, Arlington area.
They
don't
do, and they served breakfast for one of the senior citizen breakfast, you know, that
During-
awareness week.
Oh, well, they did. Oh, that's a wonderful salute to the American businesswomen,
Yeah,
isn't it?
sure was.
All right. And is there any other club or group that you've been involved with?
I think that's about all.
You think that's going to be about all?
That's about all I did.
All right. Now, Clara, we want to talk with you just a little bit about yourself personally. What has it been like to live in Grand Prairie since 1942? Name me some of the changes that you've seen come about. Of course, you moved here about the time of the opening of North American Aviation, which started in, I believe the groundbreaking was in 40. They started hiring in 41. So in 1942, you were here opening up a restaurant or a cafe on the corner of Main and 2nd Street. And what have you seen change about it?
Places that I don't even recognize when I get out and ride in the car. I'm lost. I went to a 50th wedding anniversary in the Country Club edition, I'm going to say.
Yes.
I guess that's what it was.
Out on Country Club Drive.
And I turned on 8th Street, and the
Yes.
first thing I knew, I was at I-20, and I don't even know how I got there.
You missed the turnoff that would take you to Warrior.
town.
Yes, back to town. Well, Grand Prairie has grown considerably since you came here. We're just so glad that you have remained in Grand Prairie and that you've given so much service to our city through your work in the cafeteria, at LTV, and your other entrepreneurial business adventures, and working with the church, particularly through the service and American Business Women's Association. It's no wonder that they picked you as the Senior Citizen of the Year, and we want to take this opportunity to congratulate you. And I'd like for you to look out into your camera, and this is it right here, and tell everyone in the Senior Citizen group that voted for you how very happy you are to be their Senior Citizen of the Year. Would you do that for me?
I am so happy that to receive this award because I loved Priest so very well when I first retired. And I do want to thank each and every senior citizen that voted for me. A special thanks and God bless.
Wonderful. Clara Vaughn, it's been wonderful having you with us today. It's just been a delight having you on our show. And
Thank
we
you.
want to personally congratulate you again for being very special to us and to the senior citizens.
Thank
and this
you.
is Ruthie Jackson reminding you that history is as we live and do.